You mentioned Ragnar Lothbrok. Who was Ragnar Lothbrok? Did he actually exist? Some people believe he's a composite from several real 9th century Viking leaders versus an actual singular human.
Yeah, I'm a romantic. I would like to believe he existed. I think probably he's a compilation of a lot of different. There probably is a seed of truth there. There probably was someone named Ragnar. The last name is a little suspicious. Lothbrok means hairy breeches.
Mm-hmm.
He supposedly had magic pants that would prevent him from being poisoned by dragons or snakes. It's maybe a clue. We're dealing with myth here. But he is really the template for Vikings. You want to figure out like what the Vikings wanted, who's their success story. It's Ragnar Lothbrok. He's born Norway, Denmark. Countries argue over that. Maybe Sweden. Some sagas say he's in Uppsala. Anyway, he is penniless, and when he is in his late teens or early 20s, he decides to sail up the Seine. There is a well-known city on the Seine, and he raids it. Supposedly, he takes the hinge of one of the gates from Paris to prove that he's been there. The Frankish king, I love the Frankish kings because their citizens give them names based on how much they hate them. So you have Charles the Great, right? Charles the Great, Charlemagne, who's followed by Louis the Pious. That's probably the best one. And Louis the Pious is followed by Charles the Fat, who's followed by Charles the Bald, who's followed by Charles the Simple or Stupid.
Nice. So you can trust the names to give you the TLDR of how good of a ruler they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So Charles the Great, widely acknowledged as sort of one of the great leaders of the Frankish Empire, a.k.a. Charlemagne.
Yeah.
So what else do we know about him? So there's going to Perplexity. Ragnar is portrayed as a Scandinavian warlord, often called a Danish or Swedish king, like you mentioned, active in the 9th century during the height of the Viking raids. And then descriptions of the raids and the exploits. Medieval traditions link Ragnar to famous raids on the Frankish realms, especially the attack on Paris in 845, where he reputedly sails up the Seine and extorts a huge ransom from King Charles the Bald. He's also associated with repeated attacks on Anglo-Saxon England, embodying the archetypal Viking chieftain, charismatic, brutal, and focused on wealth, fame, and honor in battle. So those are the ideals of the Vikings: charisma, brutality, and focusing on wealth, fame, and honor, especially honor in battle.
Then also, what does he do with it? Right? What does he do with it? So he gets about 7,000 pounds of silver from Charles the Bald, which essentially destroys Charles the Bald's kingship. But he goes back home to Denmark, and the Danish king doesn't want him around because he's too powerful. He's too rich. He's a ring giver. Think Beowulf here, right? He's got this large personal army which wants to join him he can do, they'll follow him, and he is a threat. And so he kind of is encouraged to go elsewhere. He ends up raiding England for something like 15 years. And then there's probably the most famous bit of the story is he's shipwrecked, and King Aella of Northumberland captures him and decides to kill him by throwing him into a pit with vipers. They throw him in this, and the snakes are biting him, but he's got his hairy breeches on, so it's not working. So he's singing a hymn to Odin, and he gets pulled out, and he's asked why he's not dying, and he explains rather foolishly that he has these hairy breeches. So they take the pants off and throw him back, and his last words are, when the boar bleats, the piglets come. By which he means, I have sons, he had 12 of them, and they will avenge me. And they do. They lead the great heathen army to invade and eventually conquer England. Aella, fun fact, not so fun for him, supposedly was captured by the son of Ragnar. His name is Ivar the Boneless, which is somewhat terrifying of a name. And he's the first person that a blood eagle was performed on.
What's the blood eagle?
It's when they remove the lungs. While you're still alive, they cut you open and remove the lungs and put the lungs on your back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you try to breathe, they flutter like wings. So it's called like an eagle. It's called the blood eagle.
That is
It's disgusting.
horrible.
Yes. And this is what Ayala, deserves, according to, Bjorn Ironside and Ivar the Boneless, the sons of Ragnar. Like, this is what they get.
Revenge.
This is the piglets coming to the
Yeah.
old boar, One last thing about
Mhm.
about Ragnar is his wife is also an important part. He had something like 12 sons. The accounts differ, and probably 3 marriages, but his most famous wife was named Aslaug, and she fell in love with him. He was on a ship. He was passing through, so
Mhm.
kind of a glamorous sea king, right? With he's living the dream, and she sees him and she wants to be married to him, and he says no. He says, because he wants a clever wife. And so he says, if you can accomplish these 3 things, you can marry me. So tomorrow, I'll be here tonight. And then tomorrow, I want you to come to my ship. I want you to have no clothes on,
Mhm.
but not be naked. I want you to have not eaten a meal, but not have fasted. And I want you to come without a companion, but not alone. And so she shows up with a dog. She doesn't have a companion, but she's not alone.
Mhm.
She's taken a bite out of an onion, so she's eaten. She hasn't fasted, but she hasn't had a meal.
Mhm.
And then she has very long hair, and so she's using the hair to cover herself. So she
Oh,
has
she
no
shows up
clothes,
naked, but she's
but clothed.
right. Wow.
So this is kind of the cleverness that would be expected of a Viking woman. So
Mhm.
they're well matched. They're like the ideal couple.
Mhm.
And then they have 12 kids, 12 sons, not just 12 kids, 12 sons.
And many of them end up
Many of them end up almost as famous as their father.
Ivar the Boneless,
Yeah.
Bjorn Ironside, and many others. These sons later appear as leaders of major Viking forces in England, particularly the so-called Great Heathen Army that invades in 865.
And they are historical. They are, I mean, there's these were the names of Vikings who attacked and conquered England. They end up attacking Islamic Spain. They go all over Europe.
Well, for them, it sounds like glory in battle is really important.
That's right. Yeah.
And so it's not even,
Yeah.
it's just part of the culture. It's part of
That's
the
right.
honor culture.
Men die, but names live forever.
As a small aside, since Ragnar is the star of the Vikings TV series, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch any of it. Is there any accuracy to it?
I think it's well done. My one quibble, Ragnar's brother is Rollo in the show, right?
Yeah.
They weren't brothers. In fact, by some accounts, they were born 80 years apart. But as a storytelling device, I applaud that.
Yeah, they basically take all the main Vikings and put them all together. And just
I get it. I get it. It's confusing. Honestly, in writing a book about it, the hardest part was coming up with an organizational scheme. Like, what's the overarching thing that links them together?
Well, there's certainly an overarching thing, but we don't have information about it. The problem is we get to see just slivers of information
That's right.
from the raids. There might be just this rich history that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
Like, where did this warrior culture come from?
Yeah.
Like, what was the evolution of these ideas of honor in battle? I mean, maybe it's being overly romantic, but you can imagine the ideals of battle from the Roman Empire, from the Roman Republic and the early imperial period, coming up north to Scandinavia, and we just know very little traces about that.
Yeah, even the name Scandinavia is from a Roman author.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they thought it was an island. They thought Scandinavia was an island with one tribe, the Scandia tribe, but it's close enough.